all over the world, higher education, business, nonprofits, startups, whatever. And they also have a tool called secure streaming. So secure streaming can basically guarantee that the video you're watching in Ensemble Video is being delivered off of that streaming media server. So again, another layer of security, which is very important. And then lastly, I would mention, with our embed codes and things like that, it is very hard to really download that content. Although if you have an iPhone, an iPad, and a flip camera, I could capture my screen. I could use Camtasia Relay or Camtasia to kind of capture the screen. There are ways around these things, but we try our best to make sure that that content is secure. There is no silver bullet, in my opinion. But anyway, we also have workflows to download servers. So you might say, hey, I want to download the content. I don't care about streaming. I was involved in a distance learning program for an MBA at Syracuse University, and we had the traveling salespeople or marketing people or business people would say, Scott, I love the streaming content. But at this time, 5 years ago, there wasn't streaming on planes. So how did I get the content to them? Let them download it and get it on their iPads or tablets or their notebooks. So that when they get on the plane, they open up their laptop, they can actually watch the content. So we do have workflows, to allow you to download content. Although the majority of our customers are streaming content.
Any security there to keep the downloaded content from being shared after the fact?
No, not right now. Good question. Other questions, comments? Yeah.
If someone was to purchase Ensemble Video and then later budgets got cut or something, what would happen to those videos that were downloaded into the system?
You probably want to call us and say, can we get our videos back? And we can put them on, depending on how much you have, a DVD, a hard drive, we ship you a hard drive, you can ship it back to us. So we don't want to keep your media, honestly. So, we would definitely work with you on that. So far that hasn't happened yet, but you never know.
What about for fee services?
Like, what do you want to?
Somebody subscribes to a channel or to a particular.
Also pay-per-view, stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would have to do that a lot of that on your own. So if you use like a content management system, you can plug in Ensemble Video in there. Make sure that they are authenticated to your system. Like you do it in Joomla, WordPress, there's a lot of other content management systems. So you can do like training. There's training system groups that we talk to, although none of them have really gone forward with us. But you can do that. So you would integrate them into something like Joomla and make sure that they're authenticated there in Joomla and they can watch the videos that they paid you through online payment processing form. That is not a common application. That's one thing that I don't have in my applications. That's a really good question. But it is possible. Other questions, comments? Yeah.
So if you create a video and then let's say like an instructional video and you want to update it a year later,
Yep.
Could you update it and maintain the same URL?
Sure, good question. So say what I would recommend in Ensemble Video is creating a new entry so that you could say, hey, here is version 1 and then version 2. So you don't have to overwrite your other video. So in a couple minutes here, in the last 10 minutes, I'll show you Ensemble Video, the software, and you'll get an idea. You could just add a new entry and add a new entry in your library that people see in Blackboard, Moodle, or Sky, or a link that you send them. So very good question. And if you copy your courses over, like very common in higher and K-12, those links will work, and then you could add new ones and stuff like that. Yeah, with the ESF, your ESF, and then we'll go to the back.
You mentioned iTunes. What about iTunes U? And where we heavily publish.
Yeah, you guys have a good iTunes U site as well.
And our workflow is created. We push to YouTube, we push to iTunes U, everywhere else, and have to manage the metadata separately for every single piece of that.
Yeah. So iTunes, we create feeds. Yeah, we create iTunes feeds. So you can either have one person subscribe to your feed and just drop it on their Mac in iTunes, or you can feed iTunes U so that one of those pods. I don't know the terminology anymore. I used to be kind of an iTunes administrator. I forget the terminology, unfortunately.
I'm not the admin for us.
It was a nightmare. I shouldn't say that on camera, but managing iTunes was not my most favorable job.
Is that a potential pay-per-view option?
No, not iTunes. No, so we don't do like the digital rights management of iTunes. You'd probably just have to upload it into. I don't even know how to do that. I'm sure you can. I mean, you probably have to get an account in the App Store. Somebody know in here how to do that? Install your music or anything like that? It's probably like putting an app in the App Store. You probably just upload your app, has to get approved, and then if they approve it, it goes with them. Hopefully you're not competing with what they do because they're never going to approve it. The lockdown world of these guys. So we put a video on a media server, which is great. And again, all you do is upload a file, similar to YouTube. Now, what you usually will do, now we have a lot of ways to publish, is take a plugin code. So has anybody ever used a YouTube plugin code, embed code? Right? Pretty easy. Copy, paste. You can do that in Word, you can do it in PowerPoint, you can definitely do it with YouTube videos. And that's a lot of the times the way you're going to get a single video on a page with Ensemble. You're going to copy it in embed code, you're going to paste it in Blackboard, Moodle, an old-fashioned web page, somewhere online or an internal place. Now, you can watch videos inside Ensemble. And I haven't talked a lot about this, but I did talk a little. You also want to guarantee that, hey, if it works on my Mac and Firefox and Chrome and Safari, is it going to work on my Windows machine in IE? Yes. Is it going to work on an iPad? Yes, we have an HTML5 player that is automatically detected. So we know if you're on an iPad, we just give you the HTML5 player. And my Droid somewhere around here, if the Droids, it works on Droids, tablets, things like that. So that can be very useful. iTunes, so again, we can feed iTunes and iPhones. And then we can actually add, I call this our embed code on steroids. So it's not one video, it's multiple videos with a search inside of a system, which I kind of demonstrated earlier. So I love YouTube, I use it a little bit here and there, and it's great for putting one video on a page or sending people to YouTube. But as a marketing person, I don't like sending people to places off my URL. I want to embed content, brand and communicate around it. Or if I'm a teacher, when I talk, I want to embed it in my system so my students don't get lost on YouTube. So again, we can add multiple videos into a page, in different types of layouts. You can attach your own style so it matches your color schemes and branding and things like that. And a lot of that's done with our plugin codes. Does anybody know what an API is? So an API, we also have an API so you can kind of say, hey, all this stuff that goes in Ensemble, lay it out however I want it. So if you get a developer, an industrial strength developer, they can go in and just pull data, put thumbnails wherever they want it, and lay out their showcase however they want it. So that's common use. Not common use in Ensemble, probably overstating that, but it does happen, especially for people who are doing a lot of marketing communications type stuff where they really want to control the look and feel. And then we also have a quick publish page for you don't know HTML. I don't really want to know HTML. I just want to put videos in Ensemble and hit a button and have a website. We have a thing called quick publish. So you just get a URL, you click a button, and you have your own little video website. Simple, not as flexible, not as securable because it's a quick publish website. It is ready just to be very, very simple for anyone in the world to use. So the big features I'm going to show you here, I got 15 minutes, which is great. I want to show you the annotations feature. I want to show how easy it is to add searchable and clickable notes on top of a video, which is really great for long-form content, lectures, broadcasts, whatever it may be. Again, this is very important because you're going to spend a lot of time making video. If anybody's ever made a video, it does take a lot of time, especially if you're getting into editing with Adobe Premiere, Final Cut Pro, iMovie, and then especially if you're picky and artsy, you can get really fancy. And then you want to guarantee it plays everywhere. You can brand your player, so if we have marketing people in here, communications people, you can brand your player, and the captions piece is very important. So we have this integration with automatic sync technologies now, and that's really critical so that we're able to serve students with disabilities. And we've always supported captioning, but now we have this automated approach where you can hit a button, the caption goes to automatic sync, 1 to 3 days later it comes right back on top of your video, which is really useful. Now that's not free, unfortunately, but it is very, very useful, and they are an industry leader in that space. We saw this SU video showcase. Some of you in the room have put videos here. So you have the ability, again, to use our API to customize your look and feel. That was an API site, and actually one of the people who made that is actually in booth 23 right now, Jim Daly. He's an industrial strength programmer, I would say, and he knows how to do some neat stuff. But we have a lot of other schools doing this. We were just working with Indian River State College, Erickson Institute, San Francisco. They're all digging into our API. Security tools, I'm not going to hit on this one too much more, but we talked about different ways to lock down content, which is very important in education, in internal communications. I know in higher education there's board of trustees meetings. You want to make sure that stuff doesn't get out when you're talking about, things that other people cannot know. And if you think about a business sales training, if I'm Radio Shack, how do I train my people on a new product or something like that? Or if I'm Ensemble Video and we have new features that are coming out, I'm not putting that on YouTube, because it's a very competitive environment where we live. Assignment Dropboxes and video Dropboxes. That's a nice thing, and actually in April we have a new, more elegant Dropbox, which is great so that faculty members, communications people can just easily consume content from people without Ensemble Video accounts. So you can say, put up a URL online, submit a video, tell me a great story when you graduated from Syracuse University or when you graduated from Baldwinsville High School. And they can easily upload it to somebody like the alumni coordinator. Or in a teaching learning space, hey students, 48 give me a video, I need it by Friday. iTunes U is an important one, feed iTunes. There's a lot of eyeballs in iTunes, a lot of iDevices walking around here, and a lot of times you want to be on that device, so we can feed that device. Now, this is also something that can be very unique. The one difference between us and a YouTube, people always ask, why not YouTube, Scott? You cost money, right? And that's fine, we do, But the one thing is you have the ability to kind of have your own organizational structure. So, let's say that this could be Ithaca College, and you could have a library for a web designer, for a faculty member, for, an information technology person or the chancellor's office. And you can have unlimited libraries, and certain people live in those libraries, and their videos live in those libraries. And so you can start to segregate it, but there can be somebody that manages that organization that knows everything that's going on and where all this media lives. So if somebody took a day off of work, somebody called in sick, somebody left the position, you can find content, hopefully forever, if there's metadata wrapped around it. And each of those libraries, again, not everybody lives in everybody's libraries. I can just live in my own here and add my own publishing points to Blackboard, to my WordPress blog, and to a public web page. So that's key. We support LDAP authentication. Okay, we support Shibboleth. Does anybody use Shibboleth? That's a new thing. There's only a few schools. It's for single sign-on. That's big. You can share videos. So if we're team teaching and we're math teachers in K-12, I want to share videos. I don't want to give DVDs and have to do more work. I just want to send that person a video. You can do that with Ensemble Video. And if you look at a bigger, a university and college, Syracuse University, the original creators and have 38 of these organizations. So the technology school, the business school, school of education, all of them have it. So that's the other way you can say, hey, school of education, and we're going to distribute administration. We're going to give the school of education, they're going to have their own administrator. They manage their own libraries, and they deal with their own faculty members. In school districts, this could be one school district, two school districts, three school districts, and a BOCES, or a regional information center, in that multi-tenant model. So that's also critical, and again, education can share with business if they want to. If hospitality and business are working on a program, they can share that kind of stuff, which is great. Now, you might say, are you just a cloud provider? Yeah, does somebody have a question? I missed. No? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man.
No problem. Do you guys have a showcase area out there?
For, of our customers, what they're doing?
Do you have, one of the vendor stalls?
Oh yeah, booth 23, come check us out. Okay, booth 23, big orange
Where
stuff.
are you headquartered now?
We have people in Syracuse and San Antonio, or Austin.
Okay.
Now, we have different deployment models. So some of your technology staffs and media staffs will say, hey, I want control. I want servers in my infrastructure. I want them in my data center. And I want my hands on it. I have people that can manage these. So I want a streaming server, a web server, the database. I want it all in my local area network. And that's fine. So Syracuse University in the middle, you guys are a self-hosted customer, right? Not really a customer, you guys get it for free forever. But you guys take advantage of the performance benefits. Now, Jim, he is the king of the one camera shoot, I used to call him. And you will be in the back room capturing content, and these are big files. How big are your lectures for an hour, 20 minutes?
No, 10 gig.
10 gigs, right? So not the best thing to upload over the web. So Jim can actually drag and drop a file into a folder, and then it gets ingested into Ensemble Video automatically. So taking advantage of being on that network, right? So you're not doing these web-based uploads that take 6 years. Now you can do that if you want to. But there are many performance benefits and control benefits of being on your local area network. Also, if you have appliances, video conferencing units, you can feed Ensemble Video very easily that way. And I believe this is our best of breed product. It was the original. Okay, that's the original version of Ensemble. And a lot of schools, and it's still, you see all these commercials about the cloud everywhere, right? My wife's always like, what the heck is the cloud, Scott? And it still allows you to, you can use this from the internet and manage it, log in and stuff like that, consume the content. But again, having this on your local area network is really critical because you can control it. And you know where everything is. You can have your own backup schemes, attached to your own storage area network, all that fun stuff, okay? And we do annual licensing, perpetual licensing, and limited licensing. I'm not going to talk about that stuff right now. Now the cloud, what is the cloud anyway? I don't even know what it is. Cloud? Anybody?
Water vapor in the air.
Yeah, close. The other cloud, you know the cloud I'm talking about. Which one? What is the cloud? Is Gmail the cloud?
Whatever's not on your campus.
Whatever's not on your campus or network. Gmail, if anybody uses Gmail here, you use cloud computing, in my opinion. It's outside your network, you're using hosted email in the cloud, right? So, we also have Ensemble Video in the cloud for you. Turnkey solution, simple solution. Okay? You don't have to manage the media servers. You don't have to manage the storage. You don't have to manage anything. We have this stuffed in a data center in New York City, one of the big New York City network hotels, and that's where this lives right now. We also have it in California, but most of you here would probably take more advantage of the one in New York City. And again, this is all based on storage. So if you have and say, hey, I just want to start off with this, 200 gigs of storage, which is basically 1,620 minute videos, an estimate, pretty close estimate. And that's $5,000 annually. We do have customers who start off at 2 and 3, and we have a couple that go that way. But you can see that, again, they're taking advantage of this because it's turnkey. They don't have the technology staff, or they don't want to manage another thing in their network. They're getting rid of data centers. They don't want any, they like virtualization, but they don't even want to do that stuff. They want to get it off the network. So we do have a cloud solution, and many universities and K-12 districts are on our cloud system. It came out last June. If you look here, we also have this model. So if anybody's familiar or works through a regional information center or a BOCES, and you're in K-12, that can be your BOCES, or a regional information center. So we have them in New York State. We have them in Wisconsin right now. We're working in a couple other states. And you can see here, you can have these multi-tenant models where 25 districts live on one implementation, or 5 districts live on one implementation, or in some cases 3. But again, it's great because you're sharing resources, right? And that's a big thing nowadays. Sharing resources, reducing duplicate services, investments, and efforts. So that's that managed service consortium model. If any of you are SUNY iTech hosts this as a managed service model. So you can actually get this through SUNY iTech if you wanted to. They're up in Buffalo. You can get it from Ensemble Video. You can do all kinds of neat stuff with this. Now, I wanted to show you Ensemble Video what it looks like in the cloud. This is our cloud version. So when we talk, I had those structures, the org and the libraries. If you look, this is my organization, Ensemble organization. I'm logged in as a system administrator. So I can see all these other organizations. Mostly when you're a faculty member, you just get dropped in one library. So here you can see all of our, there's a school district downstate. I lost my organization, where did it go? It's good when you're starting to lose your organizations. It's getting busier. So you can see I can go to my libraries. Now, what's important here to mention is that, I can go into my creative services library. This might be designers and developers who just manage images and PowerPoints and things like this. So here are image galleries. Here's a postcard that I have down at the booth over there. So I actually just have image galleries. And a lot of, K-12 uses this for art teachers. So that, I've gone to many little art shows for my daughters, and it's great. And I have to go to the library or go to the school. But let's say your grandma or grandpa or your uncle, Bob, out in Ohio. How are you going to get to the art gallery? You can't. So throw up an image gallery online, using Ensemble Video. You might say, hey, I have audio I want to manage. So we can stream audio. I just talked to a guy who has a blues program, which is really cool. I would love to work with that. So we can stream and manage audio. So that's, I've been talking about video the whole time here, but that's critical, that we do these other applications. If you think about something like archives and special collections, we did a thing with the Syracuse Historical Society, so we have these old videos for the historical archives. You might be an instructional technology person. I love Ensemble Video for this because whether it's help and support, kind of promotional videos. I did a demo the other day. I recorded a demo for a university. How do you use Ensemble Video in Desire to Learn? What's new in 3.2? I'm constantly using Camtasia Studio to crank out content. Or I have a little free program that I found called Vario, and it just worked awesome on my Mac for free. I add videos to Moodle, so I can do stuff like that. And again, the key is, if this is a GoToMeeting I recorded, I can put notes on this, because this was a long demo, actually. It was an hour and 24 minutes. So now I can go in and say, hey, when was Scott talking about, when did he actually get to the start of the presentation? It took me 9 minutes, okay? Because we were doing a lot of question and answer. Initially, they were nailing me with questions, right? So that's fine. So that's an instructional technology library. If I go and I'm a professor or a faculty member, I might have or a teacher, I might have my own library where I have all my content that I've been creating here. And again, if I was to add a video here, you'll look back to that PowerPoint, title, description, keywords, you upload it, you just publish it somewhere. It's that easy, okay? And the last thing I would say is sharing. So what if I'm in instructional technology and Professor Brian needs to learn how to use PBWorks, that's our wiki program. Well, I'm going to share a video with him, like, will you please watch this? This is how you do this. I can't show you again. I've been there 4 times. Stuff like that. What about special collections? I want to lock down content. So this is where I can actually share content with a professor. and say, hey, you know, this encryption e-commerce video, this actually needs to go to Professor Brian. Check. So when I have Professor Brian, hit continue. I'm only cruising through this, but basically what I'm going to show you here is that now Professor Brian, it doesn't go in his media library or her media library, it goes in the shared library right there, and it's not published. So now Professor Brian has it for, you know, his or her use, but same thing, the special collections can take it right back in 2 seconds. So if you're a library, that's how librarians use it. They'll go, oh, you know, you're done with that. You can't use it anymore. They probably say it a lot nicer than Scott does. And also, you know, when I mentioned that, you'll see that if I go into edit in here, if you ever just wanted content to come down off a website automatically, display after, display until. So again, if I know that that faculty member can only use this till December 15th, 2012, pull it down after that time. So we have a lot of these like edu-focused tools. There's a ton of stuff in here. The publishing is very easy. If I want to grab this video, I just go get it in embed code. I can look at it. Oh, that's a secure one, so there's no embed code. So we go to marking. These are not locked down. So this deliver one, where I had a single video on a page. Here's my embed code. I can change the size really easily. I can just grab this, copy it, paste it somewhere. So you copy, paste somewhere, you know, like on a page like this. That's that exact embed code. And the last thing I would say, if you want to create a showcase, something like this with a featured video, categories and things like this, you would just use our multi-video embed code, which I will finish with this. Go to web publishing, install. Now I have, you know, an embed code here where I can just grab and it creates like a little library list or showcase for you with search. So there's a lot of ways to use Ensemble in your organizations. I can see some of the wheels turning, or I confuse people. Does anybody have any last minute questions? I think I have like a minute. Yes?
Does Ensemble come with like a bolt system kind of? Because in some websites, like if you had like works up after a little while.
What's a bold system?
Well, it's something to kind of keep your works or so stored. What some people do is like they'll take like their videos or their drawings or whatever they have posted, and they treat the website like it's a library, so it's not building up on like a server on their side.
Like a backup system?
Yeah, something.
Well, if they loaded it in their infrastructure, they would do their own backups. In our cloud, we do backups like overnight and stuff like that. It's on a offsite.
Is there a way where you can still use Ensemble as to store your works, but at the same time you don't have to have it let it be viewed?
Some people don't even publish it anywhere. They just become a viewer. So if I log in as a viewer, this is like a good library example or a medical example. If I'm a viewer, you're going to see add, edit, share, delete, gone. I can just view content. That's it. I get the please stop sign. It's nice that you had tweets out there. Thanks a lot for your time. I really appreciate it. I'll be up here for questions, and I'm in booth 23.
What should we do with these?
Go to booth 23 and put them in a little silver box right in the middle of the table. Or you can give them to me. I'll transport them safely. Yes, all right, good. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to meet you.
Oh, my. I know, we're going to be here till 4. That takes
Oh, so you're going to, you're all, okay.
Yeah.
Can't eat. Yeah, Houston game 7. All right, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Meeting you next week.
Oh, hey, how you doing? Yeah, so Shane, I got some more Yeah, so that's great. I'm looking forward to it. Good. Very good. Yeah, it'll be, you're ahead of the game. All right. Hey, thanks. Fun stuff?
Yeah. Hopefully, take it with me.
Anytime you need stuff, I'm do a webinar quick, I can come up. Hey, thanks, man. I'm good.
Andy came up and ran through some stuff.
Cool. Here's the man. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the question. You too.
Hey, Scott, are you going to make this available?
If they make it, it'll be on their website. I don't know what they do with it. They don't sell it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be on their